Good morning, everybody. What's up, Gavin? What's up, Gavin? Okay, get back. Back up, back up. Back, back, back. Stay there. Anyways, I just want to do a quick video. I gotta get to dog walk and everything. But anyways, this morning I had an epiphany. I never say that word right, so excuse me. I just wanted to remind everybody that we need to pare down our personal belongings. That is one of those things I think we forget to do from time to time. But I was thinking this morning how, we don't know what the next year is going to bring. We don't know what in 2 or 3 years is going to bring for us. So I think we need to pare down a lot of our personal belongings. We don't know where we're going to be, where we're going to end up. Even though you could think, oh, I'm already got my retirement money, or I'm already retired, or my house is already paid for. Look, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, the government, I think, is totally out to screw us all royally, real quick, probably. So we need to prepare for that. And I think having the least amount of items in our day-to-day life and trying to travel through life lightly is probably the best way. And I think if you have a bunch of stuff in storage, you need to go through that and stop holding on to that dream of, oh, one day when I have a house, I could use this, and this item. Look, you're going to be a different person by the time you take that stuff out of storage, no matter where that stuff is stored. By the time you pull that stuff out of storage, you're going to be a different person. Those items are not going to have the same value or the same usefulness or the same attachment as who you were when you put that stuff into storage. So you should probably go through that stuff now. And holding on to sentimental items. I get it and I don't get it. If somebody really knew you really well, they would be giving you something that is really useful. So many people just get a knick-knack, for example, or hold on to some old item of clothing, and it's sentimental. Look, take a picture of it, write it in a journal about that item or about the circumstance or why it was given to you, and then pass it on to somebody that could use it. Or take a video, like a show and tell, like, hey, so-and-so gave me this item and this is what it means, and pass it on. Because so many people have these items in their day-to-day life or around their surroundings, and they just hoard on to these items, and it just sits on a shelf or in a box or in an attic or in a basement, and it's like, how is that serving anyone any purpose? One day you will pass. That day could come any moment for anybody, and you're gonna have all these items that someone else has to deal with. You should deal with that now in your lifetime, not let that be somebody else's responsibility. Someone else is gonna have no clue, no idea. You may get Alzheimer's, and it can happen to anybody at any age, and you'll be like, you just have all these items around, and it means nothing to anybody except you, but now you have Alzheimer's, so what does it really mean? So if you had it journaled, what the item was, or a picture, you're a little more likely to remember what it is. And it, I think, really helps to close that gap, too, where people get rid of items that were sentimental, and then they regret it. You have to evaluate, why are you regretting it? Everything has a time limit and an expiration date. Everything has its cycle. I always feel like if someone really knew you, they would get you a really good item or really good present or really good whatever, if they really knew you well. You can't just hold on to it out of guilt. You can't just hold on to it because you can't say no for taking an item into your home, and people just half the time want to unload their items onto somebody else or wants to find a good home for those items. You got to learn to say no and pare down your items. Try to live as minimal as you possibly can and just have what you need for the day-to-day and what's going to serve you now and within maybe the next year or two, and stop holding on to items that, stop thinking how, oh, I'm going to fit in those clothes one day. Well, it's already been how much time? Think about the now, and maybe just so many months after that, and stop holding on to who you used to be or the life you used to have. Who are you now? Where do you want to go? Who do you want to be soon? You know, because now you have also a different feeling behind everything. Your feelings are going to change over time about your personal belongings. So I think nobody knows exactly where their future is going to go. You know, you could prepare all you want, but there's so much happening in the world and everything's upside down and topsy-turvy. So my biggest advice, try to travel through life lightly. Try to have just the minimum possessions that you need. You know, look around. What is really important to you? I always think, okay, if there was a fire and you have like 2 minutes, what are you going to grab? What is the thing you're going to be the most heartbroken about not having in your life again, ever? You know, everything else is really replaceable. Why do you have such an attachment to items? I've been there in the past. You know, I have now just probably a box, like shoebox size of just items that, you know, maybe are sentimental. And over time, I go, like a few times a year, actually, I go through that box because sometimes these things, that person's no longer in my life, or they left a bad taste in my life. So I need to not have those items, or I just take a picture of it. And I'm more likely to look at the picture on my phone than go pull out that box and look at those items and hold those items and be like, oh, so-and-so gave me this, you know? So a lot of times I just take a picture of the item and then discard the item. You know what I mean? Either find it another home or give it to someone that could use it, or maybe just put it in the trash because sometimes it's not that valuable over time, you know? I don't need to keep every tiny little item taking up real estate space, right? Because that adds up in money, you know? So I think it's good to maybe journal about items or do a video about something so that your future kids or relatives or whoever, significant other, could go, oh, I know what that was about. You know what I mean? And those sentimental items will only apply to you, not, you know, and then I feel bad for people that like have been holding on to like their family's like china for years and they never pull it out. They never use it. And then when they die, they pass it on to the next generation and it becomes everybody's burden, you know? And it's like, well, why aren't you just using it? Because it's a full set. We got to keep it a full set so we don't use it and people don't get together like they used to. Why are you hoarding onto these things? Give it to people that probably would use it and really appreciate it and really enjoy it, you know? And don't always think about, oh, I could sell this or that item for X dollars. That's not always true. Yeah, it could be worth a lot if somebody is going to pay that amount. But if nobody is going to pay that amount, it's not worth that much then. You know, you're going to find that basically sucker who's going to pay that to make it worthwhile. Otherwise, it is just staying in a box or a space, and you are paying on that, whether you realize it or not. It is this bogging you down of this item, no matter how big or small that item can be. It's like the elephant in the room, you know? So you need to really just evaluate what you have, what you really need, who you are and where you are going, and what could be, you know, stop daydreaming about, yes, it's great to daydream about the future. You got to be real though, but you got to stop holding. I'm guilty of this too right now. I'm starting to clear out my storage unit. Luckily it's just a 5x10, so it's really easy, but there are household items in there that I have that I'm like, dude, we won't have a house for who knows how much longer, and I have stored these items for the last couple of years, sadly, you know, just basic kitchen stuff, let's say. And I'm like, you know, I have a great pot set I should just give to one of our relatives or friends that loves to cook, and they could definitely probably use some nice new Martha Stewart pots, you know? And one day when I have a place again, I could use those, because if not, I just hoard onto those. It's like eventually they will probably get rusted, and I will pull them out of storage and be like, oh my god, all that money just wasted, gone. I think they were probably like $200, but we got them on sale, had a coupon, all this, so it was worth the money at the time. But you know, it is better, I would feel better instead of just sitting in a box in the dark storage one day hoping for my daydream house that I'm ever going to get, you know, instead of me paying on the storage to take up that space. That space could be used by something I really do need or just to have more room in my storage. And those pots can go on to someone who is just going to appreciate them and be like, wow, I love to cook. And look at this wonderful, great cook set. You know, this is, you know, that would bring more joy to me than it's sitting in a box for my one day possible happening of a house, you know, to be able to use them again. And, you know, if I happen to have given the pots away, for example, and I happen to 6 months later end up with a home again, whether I rent or own, whatever, not like I couldn't go out and buy a more minimal set. Because how much do I really cook? Really? I mean, it was a great deal at the time. We thought we needed this whole pot set that must have 10 different items. And it's crazy because I am a minimalist, but why we ended up getting this whole pot set that had like, it was a good deal. You know, they suckered us into it. You know, it's like, they're wonderful pots. But did I really need probably like 10 different sizes and all this when you probably could get by with like 3? Maybe 2 skillets, a deep pot, and 2 saucepans, really. But we have way more than that. Anyways, you know, it would bring me more joy to pass that on to someone, like a friend or relative that loves to cook, and they've not maybe been able to afford a great pot set. So they could use that, you know, and that would be great. You know, then it's sitting in a freaking box. So think of those things, you guys. Think about all your items that are like around you, just to declutter your life. And, you know, you don't know how your housing situation can change in the next 1 to 3 years, at least, you know, even maybe a little bit longer than that. But even if you think you're set now, so many things are going to change within the government, within money, within everything, to where you don't know if your living situation is going to change. You need to prepare for that. You need to pare down your items, and you don't know if you're going to have to put stuff in storage, or if you're going to have to stay with relatives, or they're going to have to stay with you, and now you don't have space for everybody's things. You need to just get down to the basics, I feel like, you know, and just have what you use on the daily. And there's always other people you can borrow things from. So let's say you don't need to hold on to 3 rakes for your yard, just 1 or 2, and not like you can go buy another one or borrow one from somebody, you know, just those are examples. But I understand a lot of people want to do a lot of prepping and hoarding on to all kinds of things, but you don't know how and where the future is really going to go. So you need to just think a little longer term. Think now and maybe a little bit longer term, you know, and for the unforeseen and the what ifs and stuff like that, you know. And people need to stop kind of holding on to those items where they're just like, oh, one day I will use this, or oh, if I get rid of it, you know, or I had guilt before about getting rid of things. Just don't hold so much value into items. It doesn't matter how much you paid for it whenever, you know, just try to travel through life lightly, I guess. This is the bottom line to this video. And, yeah, if you guys have any comments, of course, you can put them down below, you know. But thank you guys for watching and listening to my rant on such things. I just wanted to remind you guys all about those things, because even I always think about these things. Some people maybe not as often, but me, I'm always trying to get rid of things all the time. I'm always going through my stock of everything, you know. I cannot handle to have too much. It overwhelms me. I feel suffocated. So I'm always really good at getting rid of stuff, you know, and passing things on, you know, to people that could use it, or donating it, or throwing it away, whatever, you know. But thank you guys, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. All right, take care, and see you guys in the next video. Bye.